Hey everyone, I am back making another video after I just finished one at 4 o'clock in the morning about sharing my thoughts about can Christians stop sinning. And guess what? It's 5:53 a.m. and I gotta go to work soon. But because I was still studying because something stood out and I wanted to go deeper, I was asking questions and God blew my mind, gave me such a revelation to where I cannot sleep. I'm like an energizing bunny. Ding, 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 ding. Like a little kid with lollipop with so much sugar. And I wanted to share with you what God revealed to me because I can't keep it to myself. But before I do, I want to explain to you what nature really means because nature, the word nature is a very big part of what I want to share with you. But I should have known this, but it's okay. I know it now. Now, in the Bible, nature typically refers to the inherent character, constitution, or essential qualities of created things, including humanity. Now, what does Romans chapter 6:6 mean? Let me tell you the verse. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed. What body? Now, that henceforth we should not serve sin. Let me break this down simply for you, this actual verse. Our old man is crucified with him. The old man means your old sinful nature, who you were before salvation, the person ruled by sin. When Jesus died on the cross spiritually, your old sinful identity was put to death with him. The power of sin have over the power of sin that was over you is broken. It does not mean you no longer have flesh, obviously. It means your old identity as a slave to sin was crucified. Now, the part where it says that the body of sin might be destroyed, body of sin does not mean your physical body disappears. It means the body that was controlled by sin, a life dominated by sinful desires, destroyed here means render powerless, made ineffective, stripped of ruling authority. Sin no longer is your master. So, in another part where it says that henceforth we should not serve sin. Before Christ, sin ruled. You obey sinful impulsive naturally. After Christ, you are no longer obligated to obey sin. You now have the ability to resist. You serve righteousness instead. It does not say sin cannot tempt you. It says you are no longer slave to it. Got it? Now, the big picture of Romans 6 is teaching you are united with Christ in his death. The old enslaved version of you has been crucified. Sin lost its dominion, lost its grip. You are free to live in righteousness. This is about freedom from sin's authority, not sinless perfection in the flesh. Romans 6:6, when Paul says our old man is crucified with him, he is talking about your old identity in Adam, the person you were before salvation, the version of you ruled by sin. That old man was crucified with Christ. What is the flesh? Paul often uses the word flesh, a Greek word sarx, to describe human weaknesses, the sinful impulses that operate in our physical body, the part of us that still feels temptation. For example, in Romans 7:18, Paul says, in my flesh dwelleth no good thing. That means the physical body still has sinful tendencies. So what's the difference between the old man and the flesh? Your old position as a slave to sin, your former identity crucified with Christ. The flesh, your mortal body, the place where temptation still operates, not yet glorified. Now, first, what was actually crucified? Now, Romans 6:6, Paul says our old man is crucified with him. Notice it does not say the flesh was crucified. It says the old man was crucified. The old man equals your old identity under sin's dominion. So why are we still fighting the flesh? You may ask that. I did too. Because the flesh was not crucified. It is still present, obviously, but no longer has ruling authority. Crucified does not mean removed when something is crucified. It is sentenced to death, but death can be gradual, not instant. Spiritually speaking, the rule of sin was broken at the cross. The presence of sinful impulse remains until resurrection. That's why believers still struggle. Galatians 5:17, Paul says, for the flesh lusted against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. Notice this is written to saved believers. There is still a conflict. If the flesh had been crucified, completely removed at salvation, there would be no war and no struggle. Now, Romans 7:18, Paul says, in my flesh dwelleth no good thing. Paul was saved when he wrote this. He was saved. Yet, he still acknowledged the presence of flesh. Now, the cross broke sin's dominion, not the body's existence. Here is the key. Before Christ, you were a slave to sin. Sin ruled you. After Christ, you are no longer a slave, but you still live in the mortal body. The cross changed your position, not your current physical condition. When will the flesh be fully gone? At resurrection. In 1 Corinthians 15:53, I gave these scriptures before, it says, this corruptible must put on incorruption. That's when the battle ends completely. Simple explanation. If the flesh was fully removed at the cross, Christians would never be tempted. Christians would never struggle. There would be no need for spiritual warfare. But scripture clearly teaches we must mortify the flesh, walk in the spirit, put off sinful deeds. You fight the flesh because it's still present, but it's no longer your master. The victory truth is you are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from victory. The rule of sin was dethroned. The rebel impulsive flesh still trying to rise up. That's why we must stay in the word, stay fasting, stay praying to keep this flesh under submission under the Spirit of God so that it will not rise, and we should kill it all the time and not allow us to fall into sin. And we must continue to lead after the Spirit and not after the flesh. For spirit give life and peace, flesh is condemnation to hell. Now, I just want to let you know that verse, Romans 6:6, actually let you know that you are not free from sinning, but you are free from sin spiritually, not in the flesh. Now it's time for me to go. Gotta go now because gotta get up in a few hours for work. Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye.